Welcome children. Today we'll study Civics chapter Directive Principles of State Policy. The framers of our constitution had desired to see India as a welfare state. Children, do you know what is a welfare state? A welfare state is a country where citizens are guaranteed a healthy standard of living, equal opportunities, full employment, and fair distribution of wealth. The framers of the Constitution could not fulfill their dream in 1949, for the country had recently been freed of British occupation. The 200 years of British rule had drained India's economic resources. With this hope, the framers of the Constitution of India included the directive principles of state policy. These principles are included in Part 4 of the Constitution. They are moral, value-based principles that act as guidelines for governments while making policies. The directive principles of state policy can be classified into three categories. Number 1, principles promoting economic equality. Second, Gandhian principles. Third, journal principles. Children, let us study about these principles. Number 1, principles promoting economic equality. The directive principles direct the government to make and enact laws to ensure the following for the citizens of India. Number 1, adequate means of livelihood for every citizen of the country. Second, equal distribution of wealth and material resources among all sections of the society. Number 3, equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Fourth, public assistance to old, sick, disabled, and unemployed people. Fifth, a decent standard of living and leisure. Second, Gandhian principles. During the independence movement, Mahatma Gandhi had envisioned a plan for the social development of the country and its people. Some of his ideas were included as the directive principles in the Constitution. These principles are known as Gandhian principles. Number 1, to provide free and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14. Second, to promote cottage industries in the rural areas. Number 3, to establish village panchayats. Fourth, to prevent the slaughter of cows and promote animal husbandry. Fifth, to prohibit the consumption of alcohol and drugs. Journal principles include: Number 1, protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forests and wildlife. Second, promote national monuments and places and objects of national importance. Third, promote international peace and security by respecting international laws and treaties. Fourth, free legal assistance to the poor. Fifth, implementing a uniform civil code. The Constitution of India includes both the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy as tools to protect the rights of the people. However, there are a few differences between these two features of the Constitution. Fundamental rights are justiciable, which means they are legally enforced and protected by the courts, whereas directive principles are non-justiciable, which means they are not enforced by the courts and are not provided any legal support. Fundamental rights aim to establish political democracy, whereas directive principles aim to establish socio-economic democracy. Fundamental rights can be suspended during emergency, whereas directive principles cannot be suspended under any conditions. Fundamental rights are the privileges and the rights of the citizens, whereas directive principles direct the government what to do. The Government of India and the governments of the various states have taken several steps to implement the directive principles. Seats are reserved for the people belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in the fields of education and employment. Panchayati Raj system has been established all over the country. Zamindari system has been abolished and laws have been passed to distribute lands to the landless farmers. Primary education has been made compulsory. Our government has taken several measures to encourage cottage and small scale industries. Various labor laws have been passed to improve working conditions of workers in factories. Children, in this video we have studied about directive principles of state policy, its classification under three categories, differences between fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy, and the implementation of directive principles of state policy in India. Thank you.